Good morning, crafting friends. This is Cheryl Ann with a tutorial on how I make my cardboard covered journals. I had a request to do this from a good friend and one of my subbies, so here we go. I just, I gather up cardboard. My husband gets a lot of boxes from Amazon, and I'm like, don't throw those away. I need those. Of course, I need all of them. But this one is already cut down, and you see it has that nice crease here in the middle. Apparently, I've even drawn a line down the middle. And then I cut around the edges. I cut it a couple different ways. I do have one of these sets of the knives that my husband had this set. He said I could have it. So I have it. And I do use that to go along the edges. So this one is all trimmed. You can see this one this is my second attempt to do the video. I cut along the edges. This was a really long piece. And then I have this left. Now sometimes I'll also take my scissors and I will cut along the edge. Like this needs a little trimming, but see, I kind of like the uneven edge for my rustic journals. In fact, here's one here that I've been. This is my next owl one. See, I haven't even done the inside. But you can see there's the outside, and see then the next step would be to start tearing the outer packing material away till you get the corrugated look. And see, this one isn't entirely even, see, along the top, but I like that. I like that to make my journals look rustic. On the bottom here it's even, but you can see here it's not on the top. And then if I put my pages in, ta-da! Oh, and something I do, I only put 20 pages in because these are single signature journals. So, they're not going to be 2 or 3 signatures. They're just one. But 20 pages gives you 80 writing sides, and that's actually quite a bit. So this one needs to set for another day or two, because see, it's wanting to pop open. I'm not liking that. So this one is going to go set and behave. This one is the one I just did, and it's actually folding pretty well. And then the little one here, that folds over pretty easily. But you can use, here's a couple more pieces that I've got. And these are really long, so I'm thinking, ooh, if I were to fold those right here in the middle, see that nice crease there? I could fold them in here and cut that, and then I could make one journal here, one here, one here, and one here. Now, if you have this tape, this is a little harder to cut through with your X-Acto knife. So sometimes I'll pull it off. Also, it's hard to get through with your scissors. So you can just tear that off. It comes right off, and it doesn't hurt the cardboard. When I get done cutting it and checking it and making sure that everything fits, then I put the gesso on it. This is the one that I use. I think I got this one on Amazon. I really like this one. Lori Marie Jenkins recommended this one. It's different from the Liquitex that you get over like at Michael's, but I like that one. And you know what? I like the feel of it, and it gives it a little coating, and it just makes it easier for your if you put paper on it or even fabric, it gives it something to adhere to. So I really like it. See, this is the back of the owl one I did for my friend. It's got some cheesecloth up here that I tea stained. and then it's got the fabric, and then on the inside back cover, this is burlap paper. I think I get this at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and then that's the burlap paper. And see, I don't mind the wrinkles. That's the cardboard, you know, and it's not because of my glue, because I'm using Fabri-Tac. It's just that this is one of the effects you get with the cardboard. Okay, so the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to start tearing. See, I don't like to get too close to the edge, and I don't like to get too close to the edge here. But sometimes I'll start at the bottom and tear up. Sometimes I'll start at the top. It just depends where I can kind of get a grip. So like that's coming off pretty easily. And I like to have kind of a mixture of the cardboard that's still on and then the part that I've peeled away. So I'm going to do some more peeling here for a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did a little more peeling, and I actually accidentally tore that. But you know what? A little Fabri-Tac on that, and by the time you put something over it, you won't even be able to tell. Now, I don't do that on the inside, because on the inside, I want to glue my scrapbook paper, and then I usually put a strip of fabric down the middle just to hold everything in place. But let's see, that's what I've got done so far. And one thing you can do is you can take your scissors and you can kind of get underneath that and you can tear it up. So that's something else you can do. But I'm going to work here on the back, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've done the front and the back. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the gesso on it. And I go over the whole thing. I have a nice brush here that I use, and I'll go over all of this. I even go over the ridges here. And then another thing I do, and I don't know, maybe it just helps me sleep at night. I do use Mod Podge, and then I use one of my little thin brushes. See, this is that's a little thin brush. And like I said, I don't know if I need to do this, but I just go along here on the top. It makes me feel like maybe it won't come apart. I mean, the cardboard is very forgiving. If you mess up, you can always go get another piece of cardboard. I just ran to Costco and I came home and I drove around the neighborhood, and all my neighbors are throwing out their cardboard. They recycle it here in our city, so I'm thinking, oh, I just have a steady supply. My supply is endless. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. There, okay, so I do a thin coat. I don't do it real thick. I don't know if there's a right and wrong way to do it. I use my left hand, but I do get a little bit in the part that sticks up. And I do go all the way to the top. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Mod Podge and I'm going to seal it. So that's next. Okay, so I went around all the edges with the Mod Podge, and then that one little area where I accidentally tore it, I put some Mod Podge underneath, and then that'll help seal it, and I'll be sure and put some books on top of that. What I usually do is I'll take a sheet of the wax paper, I'll put it over it, and then I'll put either a couple scrapbook pads on top or some heavy books, and I'll let it sit overnight. So that's it. That's basically all I do. And the next thing I do is I might start on the pages for the inside, my one that I have. And I like to do my covers last because I always feel like the book kind of takes a life of its own. Like I was going to do 2 owl journals. Well, I got one done. I'm thinking, nah, I'm bored with that. So the second one I think is going to be just owls and birds and nature, and see, it's already taken a life of its own, so I just never know what I'm going to come up with. So until next time, if you have any questions or comments, please do leave them below. I love to read comments. I love to hear from you and hear what you're doing. And until next time, bye for now.